What's going on, beautiful people? What's going on? It's your brother Moa, and we have reached another episode of the Philosopher Study. And I appreciate y'all for coming along around here and chilling with your brother to talk about some issues that I think are pretty interesting. You know what I'm saying? I can only hope that you feel the same. And today, what I would like to talk about is the concept of autonomy, specifically within the Black community. So, what do I mean by autonomy? Black autonomy, and I really don't even like to put the adjectives in front of it because we're human beings, and these are all human traits, and this is something that it seems like we're tending to forget that certain aspects of humanity doesn't belong to only a certain group of people. It's not a white thing to be on time. It's not a white thing um to like math and to excel in math and other what they call more rigorous things, subjects. These are not things that belong to any race, and for a society that loves to state how it's against racism and things like that, we tend to have these racist ideals at the center of a lot of conversations, and I believe that's an extreme failure in public discourse, and that's something that needs to be addressed. But beyond the stuff that needs to be addressed, beyond if I can concede with you that we have systemic issues, that we have systemic racism, if we have systemic oppression and all these things, if I can agree with you on that, if I can agree with you that there is an entity outside of ourselves that are constantly trying to hold us back and hold us down and ensure that we don't reach the highest level of human endeavor possible, if I were to agree with that, and there very well might be in certain instances. The most important question for me, though, in this um, paradigm in which there is an outside entity that is um, trying to hold me down, trying to hold me back. There are entities that are trying to hold me down and trying to hold me back. There are systems in place to hold me down and hold me back and keep me from achieving whatever it is that I want to achieve. If I can concede that with you, the question would be what are we going to do about that, though? Because we can't just stay in a situation where we're seeding that there's systemic racism or there's systemic oppression and things that are keeping Black people down, and what, we're just going to do nothing about it. We're just going to sit and more or less complain about it without any movement, without any action, without any plans, without any strategy whatsoever. It just is what it is. We just have to sit and deal with the fact that we're an oppressed people forever, even if our ancestors only but 400 years ago dealt with that fate. To what extent does the historic oppression that a people have been through, to what extent does that have on people today? I i, I sit and think about this, of course, primarily with my own people. If To what extent does my ancestors being enslaved here in this country have on the bearing of the chance of success in my life today? Also, when we think about that, why is it that we only consider the negatives to be the energy that's passed down through generations? Because yes, although our ancestors dealt with and endured enslavement, that wasn't the end of their story. The people that was born closer to slavery, the people that rose up from slavery, they are the ones that have more claim to this argument than we do 400 years later. They then would have more claim, uh, a more of an argument for affirmative action. They would then way more than what we do now, but yet our people still found a way. Carter G. Woodson still found a way. W.E.B. Du Bois still found a way. Richard Greener still found a way. Countless others. Before governmental assistance. Because these grand ancestors of ours, they had a sense of personhood that I believe has been lost throughout the years. Their sense of personhood was not attached to outside opinion, especially not the so-called oppressor. That would be the last person whose opinion about yourself we should give any kind of credence to. And I believe that a good number of our ancestors understood that. We talk about how history is tends to be whitewashed in all of these cases, but we don't think about we can agree that history has been whitewashed when we talk about Egypt. We can talk about how history has been whitewashed when we talk about Nigeria. We can talk about how history has been whitewashed with the Native Americans. We can talk about how history has been whitewashed with the Moors and countless others vis-a-vis African history. But nobody ever talks about the history here being whitewashed insofar that it paints us as perpetual victims. We don't see that as a part of being the whitewashing that we're talking about in other instances. We don't talk about how that is just as much as whitewashing as painting the ancient hieroglyphic writings, bleaching the characters in those hieroglyphs. It's the same act of whitewashing that's occurring, just in different contexts. So again, with that all being the case, what are we going to do about it though? We love talking about, the black excellence and that's true, we are. But it's like when it's time to show that excellence, when it's time for that excellence to be challenged by the presuppositions and biases and everything like that of the day, when it's time to actually get down with the get down, we're nowhere to be found. Bars. I think we have a misunderstanding of what life is supposed to be, how it's supposed to be, and how we are to grow in it. We have this idealized kumbaya of of life when that's not just truly reality in any form, shape, or fashion. What do I mean by that? This is what I mean by that. I don't know where you have found this idea of a utopia that is being prescribed. Like everything is an ideal, and I get it. I have been that idealist, but you know, like anybody else, a reality hits, and you understand. Like, look, I'm gonna have to move in a different way, or I'm going to continue to get the same results that we've been dealing with for X amount of years. If we continue the route that many of us have been on and blaming outside forces for the conditions of our people, we are never going to get beyond that condition. It's a very simple science. So now the question is what new things are we going to try, us being these autonomous beings, those that can act under their own knowledge and wisdom and willpower, those that can act out in their own personhood, in their own humanhood, like anybody else can. We speak about the systemic injustices. We speak about the systems that are in place to keep us oppressed. We speak about all of these people in power. We speak about everything outside of ourselves, of why we can't do whatever it is that we need to do. And what we speak of ourselves in this paradigm, we speak about ourselves as if we have absolutely no power at all. All power is given to outside sources. All power is given to the mythos of white supremacy. All power is given to ideas or actual systems of oppression. Systems do not work unless people are in the systems making sure that those gears work. So if there is indeed a system, if there is indeed a system that is working towards your oppression, you need to understand what that system is and what actions by you have to be performed for that system of oppression to have its purpose actualized. If your acts of this system gaining its actualization in oppression is not going to school for more rigorous subjects such as what's in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. I'm going to, as a system, I'm going to make sure that you stay out of these things. I'm going to make it alluring that you stay out of these things. But the person that is in the system that's dealing with these images that are telling me to not go into STEM, these images that are telling me to not challenge myself mentally, physically, spiritually, and so on and so forth. If I still have a choice, and that's the main thing that is being ignored in all of these conversations, is that everybody has a choice. And no matter how bad things are outside of yourself, you always have a best choice to make. You always have a best move to make, no matter what the situation that you're currently going through is. This is what autonomy is. This is what it means to be a functional adult. Understanding that no matter what it is that you're going through, there is always a best move to make. And being conscious of the movements that you are doing is what it means to be an autonomous human being, even in the realms or in the valleys and the shadows of death. You always have a choice. So let's look at this on a more practical, in a more practical way. Because I believe too many times these conversations they get too mystified. They get too mystified. They get too caught up in theory. And theory is a sexy place to be because you can add all the embellishments that you want to theory, but you have no responsibility actually to bring anything into fruition. So if we want our people, if we want our people to be collectively in a better place, economically, in security, and so on and so forth, we have to sit and really consider and self-reflect on what actions are we doing as a people that are feeding us to the systems of oppression that are feeding us to these systems of victimization in the victim mindset. What actions are we doing that are feeding us into these systems of otherness, lowerness, sucker shitness, all of these things? And we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to do this both on an individual level and we have to do this as a collective. But let's keep it all the way 100 here. When I talk about we have to do it as a collective, I'm not talking about the grand collective of black folks. Sorry, we tried that. That's not going to happen. The best thing that you can really hope for is to collectively do uh 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 is to collectively have this introspection with people who have already done it on the individual level. That's the challenge of finding other like-minded individuals that would put themselves through this self-scrutiny and then find those people and then collaborate with them down the line on seeing what we can do on collaborative efforts, because those people who would do something like that, those are the people that you'll gain the most benefit from mutually. And I would say, even though the title of this is Black Autonomy, yo, we got to get beyond the space that don't get so caught up in complexion that you're missing your blessing. You understand me? Don't get so caught up in your complexion that you're missing your blessing. That, oh, I'm only going to work with this person or this color or that person. That's a stupid thing to do, because we're a minority in this country by a vast amount. So the chances are that you're going to need someone that's outside of your community is quite high. So let's see what we can do to ensure that we can find the best people to help us, no matter what it is. So these self-autonomous things that we have to do to ensure that we don't get fed into systems of oppression is like, yo, what am I doing to be in this place in the first place? Self-reflection. If you're not in the financial place that you want to be, chill, pause, stop everything, and ask yourself, maybe with the notepad, a notepad and pen, what did I do to get myself in this situation? If you are in a financial place right now that you do not want to be in, sit there and be like, yo, what did I do though? What actions did I do to get me into this position? If you're not at the educational level that you would like to be, ask yourself, what are the actions that I did that placed me in this position that I am in right now? If you're broke, busted, and disgusted, if you're depressed, if you're heartbroken, if you're whatever it is that you're going through right now that seems like an insurmountable mountain, ask yourself, what actions did I do to get me in this position right here? You're dealing with a breakup. You think it's only the other person, right? But just for kicks and giggles, why don't you sit with yourself and ask yourself, what did I do to get me in this position? Oh, I didn't get the promotion that I wanted to get. This has really happened. I got the email today that said, I appreciate you trying, but this time it wasn't for you. And then I have to sit there and ask myself, what is it that I did or didn't do that got me in this position? Did I make sure that I have everything equipped that I am absolutely undeniable in any promotion that comes my way? Obviously not. Obviously not, because I didn't get the position. So I could sit here and be like, damn, it's because I'm black. Damn, it's because I'm a man. Damn, it's because I'm this. Damn, it's because I'm that. You could do that and feel good about yourself and being in the position that you're in and apply that to everything in your life. Or you can sit here and be like, you know what? Let me really sit and consider what things that I did that might have made somebody else more worthy of this position than me. Maybe once I do some self reflection, maybe it was just a matter of someone had more experience in that position, or maybe it's certain small things that I do on a day to day basis that needs to be tightened up, that would show that I can accept the responsibility of doing it on a larger level. This is what is taking responsibility of yourself. This is what autonomy is. So, but sometimes it's a hard thing to do, and it's a very humbling thing to do, and it can hurt your feelings. Shoot, I'm gonna sit here and do this one like, yo, I'm not at the weight that I want to be at. Yo, what actions did I do to get me in this position? And what actions can I do to get me out of this situation? What are the things that I know that will help? What are things that I don't know? What are things that I don't even know that I don't know? And where can I go to get the information that I do need to know so I can apply it to my life so I can get up, get out, and get something? Change something about my life. This is what autonomy is. This is what responsibility is. And this is the thing that we as a people have to grasp and master sooner than later. Sooner than later. Because the moment that we do that, the moment that we start taking responsibility for our own lives and not worrying about what outside forces say, do, or think, that then and only and only then is when we are going to be free as a people. On a more collective aspect, politically, we have to look at our condition as a people and ask, what actions have we done as a people that got us in this situation that we're in? Before we get into just like politics as politics, the main thing that I'm an advocate for is childhood literacy. And since the numbers have been recorded, Black folks have been ranking last in literacy proficiency since I think it's 96 or 92. We've been dead last. And the question again is to ask, what actions got us in this position? Now, certain situations might be, legitimate as to why uh things might be the way that they are. Some things might be legitimately true, you know what I'm saying? Like they had a sign that said whites only. They they had the police dogs out. Um they closed down our local what's a what. They did something such and such, do this, that, and that thing to make sure that this doesn't happen for these particular people in this neighborhood. These things are all true and these things are all legitimate in a sense. And I have to say in a sense, because again, autonomy asks, what are you going to do about that situation? This is where we find the greats when it comes to leaders and or entrepreneurs. They see a problem that our community is dealing with, and they develop a product or a service to fulfill those gaps in our society. And next thing you know, we know them as being some of the great entrepreneurs or leaders that we have in our generation. So with that, we have the same concept of of dealing with the issues of childhood literacy, and in our situation, what are some things that we have to sit and consider as to why our people are dead last when it comes into literacy, when we were once a people that had a fervor for education, and we would learn by any means necessary, to a people that almost seems like, you know, wouldn't do it even if we had free opportunities to do it. So, what's up with that? Certain things that we have to ask ourselves as an autonomous people is, what are the images of success that we ascribe to? What are the ideals that we strive to? What are the ambitions as a people do we strive towards? Because it's true. Like, we don't see images of ourselves in too many positive lights anymore as a people. But what are we going? Still, it's still. What are you going to do about that? Okay, the library, the closest library is X miles away. All right, what can we do to shorten that gap? What is it that's missing to get me from point A to point B? We have to take all of our problems that we have been dealing with and look at them at the most foundational level and see where we can find a solution to it. Okay, our people are last in literacy, not only literacy, math, and science. What is the foundational problems that we're dealing with? What are things that we're dealing with that are in our control? That's the big one. What are things that we are dealing with as a people that are within our control? The things that are outside of our control, that's something else. But what are things that we can do within the confines of our homes that can combat the systems that would love for us to partake in their illusions on an individual level? And it's so deep because, initially when I think about this question, you want to think about, like, what can the families do? What can the mothers and the fathers do? But it's deeper than that too, because it's going to take everybody in the community to really ask this question of themselves. What thing can I bring to the table that would both help me and also help my community? What things, again, what things do I control in the midst of an oppressive environment, even if you even want to see it that way? Okay. For the education thing again, well, maybe I can just make sure that my children get at least 8 hours of sleep a night. I'm not saying that whatever your situation is, whether that 8 hours is on an air mattress, whether it's on a couch, whether it's on a plushiest of beds, whether it's on a $2,000 mattress, whether it's on a $200 mattress that you got passed down from grandma or whatever. But the point, the most pertinent thing is getting these children 8 hours of sleep. Another thing is what can I do to ensure that my children, go to school with food in their belly. You know, again, it doesn't have mean that breakfast has to be um, waffles, eggs, sausage, orange juice, cereal, oatmeal, this, and this, and this. Whatever you can do from through your own effort, do that. If all you can do right now is ensure that your child has two scrambled eggs on in their belly before they go to school, Just be sure that you make them eggs with the love of a mother or a father. Pray over them. Make sure that they eat it all, and wish your children well on their journey. You see, and when we do these minimum things, the so you know when they come home, when your children come home, what can you do to ensure that you're able to check their homework? You work late, okay. What can you do to ensure that they do their homework and leave that homework out for you to look at once you do get in? Foundational solutions to foundational problems are going to be the steps that we utilize to elevate ourselves as a people, as an autonomous people. It doesn't start from the top down, it starts from the bottom up. And it doesn't require the lavish things in life for these things to happen. Start with what you have. Start with your bare minimums or whatever it is that you have, and it's more of a breaking and reestablishing of habits than it has to do with anything material. So focus on the things, focus on the habits, focus on the mental, physical, and spiritual patterns that you've already put forth that place you in the current position that you're in. And if it's a position that you're not fond of, find out what it is that you did to get you in that position, and then if it is something you want to change it. Baba Sieto, peace to you. That's really all it takes. Start at the foundations of why it is you're doing it. Why are you doing the things that you're doing right now? Self-reflection. It's a hard thing. It's a humbling thing, and it might hurt your feelings. But when you realize that you are the reason, or where you're at is the sole reason of your decisions, that's not a harmful thing to know. That's matter of fact, that's the most powerful thing for you to know. That if you just make a shift in your decisions, you can shift your reality. And you have to be humble enough to be like, damn, I might be ignorant in this area. So you have to do whatever it is you have to do to no longer be ignorant in that area. Frederick Douglass said, knowledge makes man unfit to be a slave. And if I'm not mistaken, he overheard his master say that. So if knowledge is what makes a man or woman unfit to be a slave, by all means, get you some knowledge on something. Maybe you're too ignorant. Don't take that as a diss. But if you don't know shit, you can't do shit. So learn something. Give you some free game. Yo, find out if there's any free grants, if there's any grants out there for Midlands Technical College. I know a couple of years ago there was schooling being paid for by the government if you took specific trades. And I'm gonna look it up again. I believe like $30 million was just invested in educational resources. As well. But I don't want to. I don't want to spread misinformation. So stay in tune with me, yo. I'm the people's librarian, yo. We'll connect you with the information. There's a lot of information that's out there, um, that can help you on the most basic levels. If you see a workshop that helps you get your record expunged, go to it. If you have an issue with your record, some of these things are absolutely free. And if you know that scarlet letter on your record It's stopping you from getting jobs at that next level, or stopping you from being able to get educational loans, or to stop you from getting educational grants or government jobs. Do what you got to do to get that off of your record, G. Basic steps. Basic steps. We'll climb up the ladder to higher philosophies and things like that. We'll get to that. But we got to make sure that you can walk on your own too first. Y'all got the cart before the horse. Everybody want to be priests and all of this stuff when we need plumbers, HVAC engineers. Come on, fam. But you got to know something. Learn something. Learn something that you can turn into a product or a service that you can benefit yourself and your community. And next thing you know, you see that the community is being raised up because it's being raised up by the people who live in it instead of people who live outside of it and just making the money off of it. Doesn't really care about really what goes on in the neighborhood. This is nothing new. This has been said over and over again. While we quote Marcus Garvey, while we quote Elijah Muhammad, Claude Anderson, etc., etc. Many people have said this over and over again. But the thing is, again, Black autonomy, you have to start thinking for yourself and not giving a damn about outside opinions about yourself and the way that you're going to create something for yourself. That we need more than African clothing stores, G. Salute to them. I love them. I shop there, no doubt. But fam, we need grocery stores. So how about instead of dissing college or whatever the case is, get you a business college degree or whatever that goes specifically towards grocery management. If there's a certification program, go that route. Whatever it is, that's the part of being an autonomous human being, is making the best decisions that you have, various options that you have in front of you. And if you feel that you don't have any options in front of you, place yourself in places and positions where you can learn about the options that are in front of you. I'm the people's librarian. I'm here to help you every single day. But if you're just gonna sit over here and hate on a nigga because he worships different, or he looks different, or he does this different, whatever, stay in the position that you at. But we are in a time where a more mature person is needed. We arguing amongst ourselves like we won something. We arguing amongst ourselves like we got shit in order. When since 1996, 1992, our children been failing in literacy. Okay, they don't have culturally relevant pedagogy. They don't What are you going to do about it then? Are you going to go to school to become a teacher to ensure that they are teaching with culturally relevant pedagogy or not? Are you going to do it in your own home or not? Are you going to ensure that you're watching instructional videos or not? Are you going to take your children to museums or not? Libraries or not? The basics. The basics. We have to be inspired by the basics, yo. We have to. We always talk about our ancestors and stuff like this. But if you notice, most of the people that be talking that ancestor talk don't be talking about the ancestors from here. Everybody wants to talk about the history that we had before slavery, who we were before we were slaves, before we went through the endurance of slavery. We want to go back of all the things that we did way back then. Forget the stuff that we did during slavery, after slavery, that got us to this point right now. We don't even look at that history, even though that's the closest history to us and probably has all the inspiration that we need. but we're suffering from self-hatred to such a degree that we hate our own ancestors, and we have to go way back to Mansa Musa to find some kind of self-respect, self-love, and self-dignity. While you say that you claim that you love your ancestors, bullshit. Because if we loved and honored our ancestors, we would see anytime that they said, well, we're going to strike down affirmative action, we're going to take away EDI, we're going to take away this or that and the third. Our ancestors then would say, all right, well, we're going to have to figure out a way. If they ain't going to let us in the door, we're either going to cut a door open or we're going to put these bricks together and build our own house. That's what Mary McLeod Bethune did with 32 of today's dollars. But yo, look at our people right now. They're taking away EDI positions, and our people crying. They go so far to intellectualize our goddamn inferiority. It makes me really wonder whose side you on. Well, meritocracy is really a tool for white supremacy. Really though? Tell that shit to W.E.B. Du Bois. Tell that to Carter G. Tell that to Roland Fryer. Tell that to John McWhorter. Tell that to Glenn Lowry. Tell that to Moa Olodumare, nigga. Fuck you mean. Any bar that's set, I'm a meet it and beat it. Pause. No Diddy. But come on, man. It's like, yo, where's our pride at? We beat our chest on everything else, sports or whatever. But man, the moment it's something in academics, it's get chillier than November, dog. So what you gonna do about that, G? Autonomy. We say these words, but we say these words in the popular culture, in the popular conversation. We say it as if white people have to give it to us. For me to have agency. Come on, man. It's not it's not going to go down that way. An autonomous people is a fearless people, not fearless in the sense that you're not afraid of the unknown, but just you push through it because you know we got to move forward. We've been running on a treadmill for way too long. Because to be an autonomous people is the ability to make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and to run with the baton as far as we can before that clock ends on every single one of us. All of us got to go through it. But from that journey from womb to tomb, who do you decide to be? Are you going to be one that's going to allow your life to be determined by outside opinions about you, even if those outside opinions don't have the greatest vision for you or anything like that? No, that's not the way. But if that's what you want to do, hey, I mean, because there's an industry in that victimhood and victimization mentality, and we can articulate ways that black people are oppressed. Have you noticed that all the people that articulate the oppression of black people, the systemic systems and systems and stuff like that, have you noticed that all those people that say how you can't do nothing are rich? What's up with that? Everybody that's telling me that I can't do nothing because I'm stamped from the beginning are speaking from places of privilege. At least at the top 5, 10, maybe even 1% of the country income wise. I said, wouldn't it be much more of a benefit for the people for you to just tell me what you did to get you in that position that you're in? Telling me that I can't? Nobody else sees that as fishy. Autonomy. Taking responsibility for your own life. your own movements, starting from the ground level. And it has to happen on the ground level and on every level. Individually, as a family, as a community, as business owners, we all have to understand that we have a part to play in this grand scheme of thing for our people. Those that choose to participate in it like that. Ground level. Start from zero and climb up. If there's something that you don't know, put yourself in the position to know. Libraries are a great resource. If there's something, if you're local, you know I got you. Even if you're not local, I'll try my best to get you in the positions that you can to make better informed decisions for whatever decision it is that you're trying to make. If you need a high school diploma, I believe, I don't know if every single library does it, but if you're in major cities and things like that, you can get your high school degree through your public library with a major in a specific trade for free. Did you know that? There are workshops often that comes around that talks about getting things expunged off of your record if that's what's being a hurdle for you. These are the steps that have to be made again on the basic level. You got to take care of the physical before we even enter the realms of the spiritual. And I believe it can be done. I know we can be done. But we have to have this thing that's called an internal locus of control. An internal locus of control means that you feel that you have the reins of your destiny, not outside sources having the final say. To take on this mindset is to take on a mindset of bravery. To take on this mindset is to take one on of self regard, self love, and self responsibility. I would like to say that mistakes will be made, but when you're working out with your purpose, every every step is a lesson, and you're no longer just acting on autopilot, just acting repulsively, just to outside stimuli. You're stopping and you're thinking, what's the best next move to make? If you take that position in every part of your life, and trust, I'm on that path too. I'm not one of these dudes that be talking like I already got it done. These are things that I'm doing. I'm succeeding and failing and retrying and redoing and resucceeding and refailing it. Some days are better than others. It is what it is. But one thing you will never see me having is embracing the spirit of despair. I don't care how popular they're trying to make it, but you have that choice. What do you choose to do? What are you going to do with this gift called life? This additional 24 hours that you've been blessed to walk upon this earth. KRS-One asks in the song, he says, do you have the courage to be you? All that talk that you talk, is it really you? Oh silly you, oh silly me. Your tongue is killing you, not killing me. Do you have the courage to sit and have that conversation with yourself, analyze your life situation, and be like, yo, the accumulation of my decisions got me in this very place that I'm in right now, physically, spiritually, body weight, financially, whatever it is. And furthermore, do you have the courage to do the things that you need to do to change it? Are you living solely for acclaim from people that you don't even know? Or are you trying to do something a little bit deeper? To be honest with you, there are no right or wrong answers in this regard. It's just to be an autonomous person, you have to make the decisions for yourself. Peace and much love once again, y'all. It's your brother Moa. And you know I like to leave a couple of minutes at the end of every discussion for some Q&A. It looks like we have a couple of viewers on across different platforms. So I'll leave a couple of moments open for comments, pushback, conversation, wherever it is it might be, yo. Holla at me. Had a good time with y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get to the point where I'm gonna do this more than just one time a month. But I'm currently in school right now, so you know I have to balance, you know, running a library, family, and everything like that along with this. So at the moment right now, all I have time right now to do is just, you know, one time a month. But you know, I will be done with school by spring of 25, and God willing, and um, you know, maybe that'll free up some more time to do more of these on a more frequent basis, maybe 2 times a month or something like that. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in. The times, whether it's 1 or 1 million, I appreciate it. You know, and you know, I always welcome conversation. You know, and you know, agreements, disagreements, whatever the case is, yo, bring it here, man. I'm not saying that I have all the answers or any answers at all, but you know, it takes a degree of courage to just sit here to even talk about it. So, you know, if you have any agreements, disagreements, pushbacks, or whatever the case is, let's make an episode out of it. Let's have a conversation on it, and let's see if we can chisel more and more towards this idea called truth. And you know, that's truth with a capital T. A lot of us have the a hold of a truth, lowercase t. And I believe that's where a lot of the problems, you know, begin, is believing that that small case t is the uppercase T of truth. And, you know, we all might have a piece of it, but none of us have the full encapsulation of this idea called truth. But, you know, I'm down for talking about it though. You feel me? And we do this um every month. And I look forward to doing more. If you have any ideas of conversations that you would like to have in the future, be sure to reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? You can reach me at all of my things here. We're on YouTube, Mowa Studios. Send any cash app donations to Mowa Temple. I'm Mowa Oludumare on Facebook, and the People's Librarian on what you call it, Instagram. But we're trying to get them YouTube numbers up, yo. So, you know what I'm saying? If you're not on YouTube yet, please go on over to YouTube and please subscribe to Mowa Studios. You see the name and everything like that crawling across the bottom of the screen right there. And I'll holler at y'all soon, man. It's your brother Mowa. We out. The Philosopher Study.